Meanwhile, we shift our focus to an India Today exclusive. This is the biggest exclusive, the biggest news break in connection to the larger conspiracy case in the 2020 Delhi riots probe. India Today has accessed the details of nearly 400-page charge sheet that was filed by the Delhi police in the Supreme Court opposing bail to Sharjeel Imam, Umar Khalid and others. Sources have told India Today that the grounds on which relief will be opposed to the accused. We are learning that the Delhi police's major argument is that the accused intentionally delayed the trial and framing of charges and hence they should not be granted bail. Further, the cops will also argue that the accused planned a nationwide stir as part of the larger conspiracy and hence no relief should be granted to them. Let me straight away take this to my colleague Gaurav Sawant, who has details of what the Delhi police is now saying.
So this is a very, very serious charge sheet that Delhi police has put together. Now, if it's able to back this in courts of law with corroborative evidence, it's a very serious charge that these were the elements who were involved in what the Delhi police calls was a regime change operation in 2020. CAA bahana tha, sarkar ko hatana tha. Words to that effect is what Delhi police seems to be painting, that kind of a very grim picture. India Today has accessed the 389-page affidavit. What is it that it says? CA, not spontaneous. Those anti-CAA riots in 2020, they were not spontaneous riots. They were planned. The aim was to destabilize India. A planned attempt to target our country. A plot which was hatched to target India's territorial integrity. The plot was to weaponize dissent against CAA based on false narrative. The attempt was to radicalize and incite minorities in our country, and it was camouflaged as peaceful protests. Remember what people were covering as Shaheen Bagh Dadis and the protest by Shaheen Bagh Dadis. Behind those Dadis were those elements who were trying to incite a mob, who were trying to incite Bharat Tere Tukde Honge, words to that effect, or worse, is what the Delhi police believes, or elements who were involved in breaking India at certain points that are vulnerable so that the Northeast would be cut off, or words to that effect. They had not only planned riots in Delhi and around Delhi, neighboring states, but pan-India riots were planned. Wrongfully portray India as a country that discriminates against minorities and especially Muslims. This was the plot. In fact, the fact that certain elements were unable to get bail, the Chief Justice or former Chief Justice of India has actually clarified why certain elements were not being given bail or were not being granted bail, or some of the frivolous cases that were coming up, or reasons that were coming up. All of this will be debated. All of this will, of course, have to be put through scrutiny, legal scrutiny. These are claims made by Delhi police, which they insist is backed by corroborative evidence, where they would be able to prove, according to them, that there is ample evidence to prove this was an attempt to destabilize India in the name of anti-CAA protests.
Oh yes, certainly. This is a very, very serious angle that needs to be looked into. Gaurav, I request you to stay on with us. Shrishti Ojha is also joining us on the broadcast. Shrishti, to the point where the Supreme Court deferred hearing on bail pleas of Umar Khalid and Sharjeel Imam to the 31st of October. In fact, a bench led by Justice Arvind Kumar, who said that in bail matters, there is no question of filing a counter affidavit. How is the Delhi police likely to approach this matter?
Well, as we know, when the matter was listed before the Supreme Court on the date that the Supreme Court had issued notice to the Delhi police, the next hearing after that, we saw that no response had come in from the prosecution side, and the lawyers had appeared and sought for more time. When that happened, we saw the court make some observations, remarks, and called out the prosecution for not filing the affidavit on time, clearly stating that the court had indicated that they would like to hear the matter and dispose it off finally. The court had questioned the Delhi police, post which we saw the court grant additional time, and the matter is listed tomorrow on Friday when the court is scheduled to hear it. The affidavit has come in, has been filed today by the Delhi police before the Supreme Court, an exhaustive, detailed affidavit clearly asserting, and a big claim that has now been made by the prosecution is that the 2020 Delhi violence, the Delhi riots, it was not a spontaneous protest, but it was part of an organized regime change operation, because according to the prosecution, it was carefully crafted by these accused to destabilize India's internal harmony and international standing. And a detailed affidavit of over 300 pages we've seen. The Delhi police also detailed the alleged role of each and every accused before the Supreme Court, including that of Umar Khalid and Sharjeel Imam, where the prosecution has gone to the extent of calling Umar Khalid the founder of the idea of Chakka Jam for these riots, and also the fact, the allegation that Khalid and Sharjeel Imam made some provocative and instigating speeches. They've also referred to specific speeches to say that speeches were made not only to instigate the population, but to terrorize Muslim population of India, to make them believe that the Indian state and constitution of India is against them. Now, the Delhi police is clear that they have uncovered some documentary and technical evidence that links these accused to the arguments that are being put forth by them, that there was a deep-rooted conspiracy which was engineered on communal lines, and the plan throughout this conspiracy, their plan was designed to strike at the very sovereignty and integrity of India by weaponizing public dissent against the CAA. This is what the Delhi police has claimed. They've also referred as far as the pace of the trial, which has been a very important topic of debate and discussion in this particular case. According to the Delhi police, the delay in trial, the so-called delay in trial, was basically on part of the accused, which they have called an abuse of process, and deliberately delaying the trial court proceedings is what the Delhi police has claimed. Now, tomorrow it will be a crucial hearing, and we'll have to see what the Supreme Court decides. Back to you.
Absolutely, Shrishti, and we trust us to keep us ahead on every single update that comes in. For the moment, thank you for getting us the latest.